Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cannabis Show. I am your host, Ryan Graves. Thank you for joining us. Now, tonight we really don't have too much of a topic to speak on at hand. That nothing really jumped out to me today and said, hey, address this to the world. Now, I did skip yesterday, just a personal day. But today, since I don't have a topic, and we're 2 episodes in, season 1, I thought I would take the time to introduce myself. So this episode is about me. It's a proper introduction to the world for those who do not know your host, Ryan Graves. I am going to let you in on it all tonight. Y'all know this is a cannabis show. We're not going to sit here and do the bong rips and all that tonight. Some people have said that it's a little time consuming and they wish that I'd cut that part down. So we have pre-rolled a Game Green cigarillo. Big fat one with cellulite. And we're going to smoke as we talk tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and strike this up. Get it nice and lit and burning. And we can elevate this conversation and get lifted. Yeah. Oh, it's important when lighting your blunt to twist it and roll it as you are a cigar. Get all edges properly lit. We are fully ignited. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cannabis Show. Yes. So, as I said, I do not have a main topic. So it's going to be about myself a little bit. Ooh. For all my listeners out there, 2 episodes, we've had 44 downloads in 48 hours. That's not too bad. We could do a lot better, but it's not bad. But for all the listeners out there that may be curious of the voice, who is the voice of the Cannabis Show? Well, my name obviously is Ryan Graves, and I'm from a small town called Clanton, Alabama. That's Clanton, Clanton, Alabama. I love Alabama. I've been here most of my life. Came here when I was roughly 5 years old. My father gained custody over me. My mother just mentally and physically and financially could not raise me. So I came here when I was 4 turning 5. That summer. My birthday is August 16th. I am a Leo. And like I said, I came here. I'm trying to decide which way we want to go with tonight's topic. Do I want to tell the truth? Do I want to tell y'all the real me all the way? Or should I give y'all the more professional version? I honestly feel that you should never hide nothing and you should always be open. So I think that might be the route we take. Now, this episode is not to talk bad about anybody, to downgrade, belittle, or anything like that, to make anyone hate anyone, to make anyone feel a certain type of way about anybody. That is not the agenda tonight. The agenda is just to tell my story, and we go from there. Now, as I said, I came here when I was 4, maybe I was 4 turning 5 that summertime. About June, July when I was 4. Like I said, my birthday's August 16th. So, my dad didn't even know he had a kid. I was in Missouri with my mom, and she was trying to get welfare and stuff like that. And I don't know something about I ain't never been on welfare. I don't know how it goes, the applications, if you gotta apply a father's name of a child or anything like that. But anyway, she was attempting to do something, and the system needed the father's name. Now she gave, from what I understand, she gave them several names to try to pass off, but none was my father. And then finally, bam, she gave him my real father's name. He found out that he had a son. He come to Missouri, him, my grandmother, and my grandfather. And I remember I was supposed to actually come back here for the summertime and spend the summer with my dad, and I was going to go back to Missouri. That was what was told. Now, what actually happened was once my dad and my grandparents got up to Missouri, and because they was like, ain't no way that's Steve, that ain't no way that's his son. They was against it, trying to deny it. But then when they got there in person and my grandparents saw me, it was undeniable. I was a spitting image of them, right in the look in the face, everything. Same hair, same face, same everything. Like it was 90. I think the DNA test, when the courts got the results back, it was 99.9998% match. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was undeniable that I was his son. And with that being said, once they knew that, we did not come back to Missouri. I mean, come back to Alabama. I'm sorry, I keep letting my blunt go out. But we didn't come back to Alabama. We actually went and got a nice hotel room, and we stayed up there a few months because my grandparents took a big bag of change, and we're going to say in the 90s, 20K was a big bag. That was a big bag, bro, back then. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they spent. They made sure that I came to Alabama regardless. They didn't play fair. They had money. My mom, she was in and out of jail, stripping, entering into the drug world, pills, weed. She says that she didn't, but my mother has a notorious reputation for exaggerating and lying about situations, but they say that she was a crack stripper. I do remember a lot of the times. Let me rephrase. I don't remember a whole lot of the times when I lived with my mother, but I can remember certain situations. And the certain situations that I remember were not good at all. Like, by the time I was 4 years old, man, I had been exposed and had seen and experienced so much shit. Now, we talking about growing up. I was born in 1988. So, I'm growing up in the Midwest area. in the the late 80s, early 90s. My mom running around with bikers and all this stuff. Um, yeah, so that tells you what kind of situation. And I remember this one man, I don't remember his last name. I just remember her saying his name was Kevin. One of her boyfriends, we lived on a farm type deal. And I remember this house. I remember the location. I can't remember the man's face for nothing. I remember this is the time when Bambi was on VHS, and I would watch it. And Pure Country, this is the time era right here, ladies and gentlemen. Pure Country with George Strait was out. And I used to watch. My mom had a waterbed, so that's another time period that lets you know a little gym there to let you know where we at and what time period. I would lay on my mom's waterbed and watch Bambi and Pure Country all day long. And I remember this man, he come home one day, and he'd always beat the hell out of my mama. That wasn't nothing new. But this day, he didn't choose her. I don't know what went so wrong in this man's world for him. I was 3 years old, ladies and gentlemen. For he come in from work all kind of been out of shape. Like I said, I can't remember his face, nothing like that. But I can tell you how I felt. I remember the room. The bedroom was dark, had wood paneling type shit, shag carpet with a big ass waterbed. He come in, and you know how them cowboys, they have them big ass belt buckles that look like a dinner plate. Like if you're from the South, you know what I'm talking about. The guys at school, the kids at school here, boy, they wore them things. You'd have thought they was Lane Frost and won all these rodeos, and they ain't did nothing but drive their loud ass Chevrolet to school. But he had that type of belt buckle, alright, and he took the belt off. He was mad. He started beating on me. This man grabs me up, a 3-year-old child. He takes his belt and wraps it around his hand. And this is a true story. This was court documented. I saw it. Finally, as an adult, I read my court papers, and I was like, fuck, dude. It's like, you don't know who to believe as you grow up. You know, as you're a child, you're told so many different things by this parent. You're told this by that parent. So you really don't know who to fucking believe. Sometimes you don't even know if the shit they say happened to you really fucking happened or not. Because you get sold so much shit. But I did read some of this. Now, this man grabbed me up by my neck. He wrapped the belt around his hand. He left a big-ass belt buckle just dangling, and he proceeded to beat me on my backside. From my ankles to my little bitty neck, all the way up with that belt buckle, just hitting the fuck out of me. And then he threw me in a dark closet in the hallway and ran his hands up and down the door and said, rats are going to eat you alive. Rats are going to eat you alive. Now I'm 36 years old, and I have the biggest rat phobia you have ever seen. I will fucking ball up and cry. And I ain't too hard to admit that. I will fucking cry if I see a rat. I seen in the papers I was raped for crack cocaine. Had a grown man stick his finger in my booty hole and all that shit. So I come to Alabama, like I said, my grandparents, they get custody. My dad gets sole custody of me. My dad, I think at this time, is roughly 27 years old. My dad, fresh out of high school, he joined the military, law enforcement. He was very good at law enforcement. I will say that much. One of the best undercover drug cops that they had was could have been recruited by the FBI. He was pretty good at his shit, man. He was real good at it. But temptation got him on that. We're not here to talk about him and his flaws, though. But I'm just saying my dad was a cop, so we was living with my grandparents at this time. And they had a big ass house, so it was plenty room. And I can't lie, when I first moved here, man, life was amazing. I was the first grandchild, the only grandchild for 6, 7 years. Probably longer than that. It was great for the longest. My grandparents were amazing. My grandmother, she became pretty much my mother. God bless her soul. She was an amazing woman. My grandfather, he took a lot of time with me to teach me and show me as much as he could. And so I get why he so aggravated me today. And because I didn't quite turn out in life how he raised me. And Granddad, if you ever hear my podcast, I am sorry for that. I love you. But at the end of the day, even though I took my own journey and messed a lot of things up, I still came out being the closest version of you. I'm more like you than your boys are. But yeah, like I said, my granddaddy and them, it was amazing. It was good for a while. Then my dad wanted more in life, and I became a middle stepchild in both my dad's marriages somehow. And personally, when you're a middle child, you're forgot about already. But when you're a middle stepchild, oh man, y'all know wait a minute. Let's add one more thing on top. When you're a middle redheaded stepchild, you know how forgotten you are? It was so easy for me to get in trouble. It was like, I don't know, man. And that's exactly what I did. I got in a lot of trouble. I got in a lot of trouble. I found my way. When my grandmother passed away at 17, she died by self-inflicted gunshot to the head. Tragic. Messed me up real bad. But when she passed away, I had never done a drug until she passed away. And then, of course, you know how it goes. You start out smoking some weed. Then you elevate. I got in school, and I got on them Xanaxes real hard. I started out with the footballs, because I had a Mexican homie I worked with at O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and his wife got him for the super low. When I tell you, this is roughly 2008, 2009 there. No, 2008, because I was still in school. Now I used to get the Xanaxes from my Mexican homie's wife for $1 a piece. We talking about the little blue footballs. Now I started snorting 2 of those. I did say snort. We would snort Xanaxes. Then I would upgrade to 3, 4. Before you knew it, I was snorting fucking 7 footballs and going to school. Which did not work out too well. Let me tell Let me tell y'all a story one time. I was in biology class, and you know how them Zans, they make you like pretty much a fucking zombie. Just out of your mind, walking around lost. Well, I was passed the fuck out, right, in biology class. And I guess me sleeping to the extent that I was and teachers not being able to wake me up, it led to a lot of concerns. And somebody had told, because I was selling the Xanaxes in school too. I would get them for $1. I turn around and sell them for $3. Somebody had told the assistant or the vice principal, Cynthia Stewart at the time of CCHS, that I was selling and I had some on me. Yo, let me tell y'all, when she come to the class and got me and woke me up, we stand in the hallway and she's telling me, and I'm fucked up out of my mind, I can barely talk. There's a table beside us, and she said, Mr. Graves, and I've been in so much trouble. She just started calling me Mr. Graves, and we just always went like that. But she said, Mr. Graves, there's word that you're selling Xanaxes here today. And I said, word? And like, I'm fucked up. I'm talking retarded to her, bro. And she said, well, we're going to search your pockets and see if you got anything on you. And pause right there. You know where on your blue jeans, that little bitty pocket on your right front pocket, that's always there? That's where I always kept my pills at. You know, they were small, they slid right in there, they wouldn't go nowhere. Boom. Well, I started emptying my pockets, and of course, being in high school, shit, everybody, all the kids paying with 1s and 5s. So my stack looks like it's fucking huge. But it's a lot of 1s and a couple of 5s. I pull this water money out. She looks at it. I look at it. She said, where did that come from? I smelled this water money in front of this lady as if I was smelling a big bag of weed or something. And then I said, smells like it come from the bank. But I don't know, Miss Stewart. I ain't really got a clue. I just know I made it. That's what I said to this lady. Now, she looks at me and she says, Mr. Graves, this ain't the time to be cute. I said, I always kind of thought I was ugly, Miss Stewart, but hey, if you think I'm cute, maybe we can hook up on a Friday or Saturday. I'm fucked up out of my mind hitting on the vice principal. She tells me to hush and tells me to place the money on the table that was beside us, right? 'Cause I go to set the money down and I miss the fucking table. The money hits the floor. I look at her, she's looking at me. I know she wants me to pick it up, but again, I'm telling you, I am fucked up out my mind on Xanaxes. I make the attempt. I bend over, and what happens? Bam! I slap my face on the floor, fall. Man, and if she didn't know I was fucked up, she had to be fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But I finally recover. I get up. I'm trying to do this. Bro, when I tell you the last pocket on my fucking body to search was the little bitty one I was telling you about. It's time for her to search that pocket. Right when she's going to search that pocket, around the corner, you hear, wham! Wham! Motherfuckers, two homeboys, I say homeboys, they ain't my homeboys, but two dudes tie up around the fucking corner and start fighting and slanging it out. Blood going every fucking where. I'm talking about it looked like a massacre. She tells me just to go to ISS, so I had to spend the rest of the day there. Yeah, that's what kind of kid I was. I have more stories like that. I was fucked up, man. I was a very fucked up kid. I always felt neglected. Because like I said, 17, my grandmother committed suicide. So I turned to drugs. My dad, at this time, he was working night shifts, union electrician. My stepmom is in prison for embezzling money. My sister is gone to a college scholarship at Jacksonville State University on a cheerleading scholarship. Given the fact my stepmom was in prison, my younger stepbrother, he had to go live with his dad in Arkansas. So who was my brother-in-law now that was living with us in this time period too in the house. When my sister went to college, he moved out. My granddaddy went to Florida. It was like my uncle was in prison. Everybody was like gone. And I was just left alone. And all I had to do was, there was nobody to show me nothing. I was trying to be positive. I took auto body and I took a major interest in fixing cars. This was when Fast and Furious kind of made its way and was done, but it was more of the mini truck and like the Toyota Tacomas, the S10s, the Ford Rangers, Nissan Frontiers, Dodge Dakotas, all this being bagged and body dropped and shaved door handles and French taillights, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was into, and I was trying to be a good thing. And I could have went to Nashville Auto Diesel College. I took their test to get in that college, passed it. My granddaddy paid for the college in full. And the day I was supposed to be going and showing up for my orientation and moving into my dorm, well, I was riding around with my best friend and a homegirl. We had bought an ounce of weed and we was riding around because it was birthday and we was getting high all day. When my granddaddy called me and said, "You on the road headed up to Tennessee?" I said, "Well, I'm with my friend. It's his birthday." And I was just trying to, before I left. He said, "Don't worry about it. Go on." He said, "Don't worry about it. Go on and have the fun you want to have." He called and ripped that check and he had him void it and then rip it up. And that's when I decided to start thinking I was gangster, joining Bloods, which I never really properly initially joined the right way, but joining Bloods, running around doing all that. Lil Wayne's time period of running the world had everybody thinking they could throw up blood signs and wear red bandanas. Started selling weed, selling drugs, period, fucking with drugs, just getting involved with different women all the time, and I just became a loose cannon. And I stayed that way probably until, well, until I met my son's mother. And then when I met her, something started to change. And I started to realize what I really wanted out here. And then she got pregnant. We talked about a family when she got pregnant. And, of course, family doesn't always mean that you'll be together. Sometimes that's what we think that family is, and it just didn't work that way, but yeah. So, anyways, I was a loose cannon until I met her, and my son changed a lot. He changed me so much for the best. Now I'm still a fucked up individual. I'm trying to get right. Which leads me to my next segment. Through all that bad I've done, it's left me wondering if I'm a good or if I'm a bad person half the time. I'm here to say that I do believe in God, and I do believe in Jesus. Or as I say, I believe in Yahweh, and I believe in Yahshua. They are the Almighty, the Son. No other way but their way. And with that being said, I have reflected on my life a lot today. I've been reflecting on my life a lot this past weekend. And I will say it's sad to say that. No, it is not sad for me to say this. It took certain things out here in this world happening for me to say, hey, maybe I need to really check myself and make sure I'm really right with the Lord, with Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I've been trying to do. Through all that bad, I was telling somebody today, like, I was thanking my brother-in-law which is also my boss man. I was thanking him for just being a good person. And I was telling him that I think I realized who he is to me. And he's like, what you mean, man? Because I'm always saying off the wall stuff, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, what you mean, man? And I'm like, no, listen, like, I think I know who you are to me. I think you're supposed to be a teacher. Because he keeps on telling me all the time he wish I find another job, maybe. Well, not like that. Well, yeah, like that too. But he wants me to do better. He would prefer me to get my own company, get it successful. Because he's tried to teach me. We've been together for 11 years. But I was telling, that's work-wise. But I was telling him today, I was like, but if you really think about it, we've been together a lot longer than that. You've been with my sister since 2003. And you was closer to me coming up, and you lived with us in high school and stuff. You was closer to me than you was my stepbrother. We just have always had a different relationship. And I said, I think it's because you my teacher. Like, you were my big brother in a sense. God put you here for a reason, and I shouldn't give you as much resistance as I do. Now, that is me recognizing this man's position. Like, I know who he is now, what his role is in my life. And when you finally acknowledge, that's an awakening. And when something like that happens, you got to really start acting to what you are acknowledging. You can't just say it. You got to walk the walk if you're going to talk the talk. You can't just talk that shit. So that's where I'm at, and I'm learning things about myself. I will say I don't have a drug addiction no more. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Back up. What I was saying about that, about recognizing people, I've recognized, I was saying that I was like, man, I've kind of had a demonic spirit attached to me at all times. And then I started listening off to people that I ran with, or the people that I so-called was trying to save, or the hoes that I was Superman and, or, you know what I mean? But, I was like, I've always kept a negative spirit around, and right now I haven't had one. So I was trying to figure out, like, am I free from that? Or who is the negative spirit in my life right now if I've always had one? But then I realized the big question. Maybe I was the negative spirit in those people's lives. This is Ryan Graves. Hey, I don't know if you fuck with this or not, but this is raw. We still smoking on the same blunt that we had lit at the beginning of the show. We are 36 minutes in. This is raw thoughts. This is me, who I am. I've been doing a lot, and I saw the Olympic stuff too, and that led me to another thing because I don't know, man. Was that one particular event that happened, was that letting us know what the Bible has been telling us is going to happen in the book of Revelations? Did we personally witness death riding a pale horse with the nations to follow behind it? It's a lot of stuff like this. Then the euphoric river, what have you said that shit? I was just watching it. The drying up and the weird sounds and that matching biblical, and I don't know, man. It's just led me to where I think that I need to really fix myself, make sure I'm right. I have worked on a lot of stuff. I'm here to admit my biggest weakness, where the enemy can attack me at, is a porn addiction right now. I'm so fucked up and desensitized that I don't really like to have sexual relations with a person, with a woman being, like a woman, a human being. I am so desensitized and have watched porn for so much of my life, and it was so accessible to me, to where if I don't masturbate to a porn video almost once or twice a day, maybe 3 times, then I won't go to sleep that night. You know, so it's a little problem I deal with, but I'm trying to fix it. It's a lot I'm trying to fix. I want to end this episode if I ramble on just too much. But before I do, I need you to hear me out. All my stoner people. I may cuss a lot. I may have a foul mouth. I may talk crazy sometimes. But I'm going to let you know that I'm a working process. I'm a perfect imperfection. And I'm trying to change into the man that I'm truly, back that up. I'm trying to change into the man that I'm truly destined to be. And with that said, the only way I can do that is by trusting God. You gotta trust Him. Whatever you're going through, hey, it's all good. Let me tell you something most important, man. You done been through the mud. You done did the work, the dirty part. It's time to shine and grind, rise, clean up. It's time to flex, baby. You're beautiful. You're worth every breath in your body. I was just like you. I felt alone. I felt ugly. I felt worthless. And I can't lie, sometimes I wake up still feeling like that, but that's just the enemy telling me lies about myself. You're worth every bit, every breath in you, every tear shed. You're worth it. Okay? God created you in the image of Him. That means you are superior. You are a God in the flesh. You hear me? Heavenly Father, I thank you for giving me life, giving me breath, giving me the ability to go to work, to make a way to provide for my family. I thank you for my family, my beautiful son Liam Carter Graves. I thank you for the lessons you have taught me. I thank you for the protection. And in all of the dark places I have been, you never let me get too far and get hurt. Now, most of all, I thank you for my listeners. Because somebody out there is going to hear tonight, and they're going to resonate with me. If you would like to donate to our show, you can do so through Cash App at $Graceland Music 14. You can follow us on YouTube at The Cannabis Show, on all podcast sites at The Cannabis Show, RSS.com at The Cannabis Show. You can email us at gracelandmusic14 at gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We love you, and I'm out.